Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Jaya Bihari, Radha, Jaya Bihari, Shri Radhe. Jaya Kishore, Kishori, Jaya Kishore, Kishori, Kishore, Kishori, Jaya Kishore, Kishori.
Jaya Kishore, Kishore,
Kishore,
Jaya
Jaya
Kishore,
Kishore,
Kishore, Kishore, Jaya Kishore, Kishore.
Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Shri Subhadra.
Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Shri Subhadra.
Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita.
Jaya
Jaya Gauranita,
Gauranita,
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Shila
Jaya
Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Shila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jagara Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jagara Hari Bol.
Nitagara Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitagara Hari Bol. Nitagara Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitagara Hari Bol.
Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai,
Harinama Sankirtan ki,
Jai.
Jai.
Jai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we can start one round of japa while.
Okay.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda,
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhar
Gadadhar,
Srivasadi
Shri
Gaur
Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Ram,
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna
उसका
Krishna
रखेगा बैटरी
Ram Hare
Hare Ram
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
हरे
Ram
कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे
Krishna
राम
Krishna
राम
Hare
राम
Hare
राम
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Hare
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे
Krishna
राम
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
हरे
Ram
कृष्ण
Hare Hare
कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम राम
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे
Krishna Hare Hare
राम
Hare Ram
राम
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Even Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare.
Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare.
Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare.
Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Ram
Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram.
Krishna, Hare Ram 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 Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram.
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna.
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanam Shri Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare
Okay. 1 second. Okay. So, okay. Let me share the screen. So far, let's see if anybody has any questions. We'll start with Mangalacharan, of course, but in the meantime, please think about any questions. You can recall the previous week, previous Saturday's discussion and any questions because it's a very important topic. So that will be nice if we can have some question answers also. That will clarify a lot of things. So, Mangalacharan. And let me share it. Some problem. We'll start with Mangala Charan. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarurvyasya Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gartuse Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna. Welcome again. So we'll just see who all are here with us today. Anil Uncle, Smita Aunty, Ajay Prabhuji, Neena Mataji, Amesh, Anita Mataji, Ankit Patel. Welcome, Ankit Patel Prabhu. Welcome to the program. Do you live in Reading, Prabhu? Okay, I think he's on mute. But anyway, welcome Ankit Prabhu to the program. Beena Mataji, Dilip Prabhu there? Hare Krishna Prabhu? I'm not sure if he's there.
Hare Krishna Bhaiya. Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
yes, Hare Krishna. Yeah, he's not here right now. He'll be back.
No problem. No problem. Then we have Darsh, Govind, Madhu Mataji. I'm not sure if Amar Prabhu is also there. Rashna Mataji, probably Siddharth Prabhu also, not sure. Vishakha and Tungavidya, Suvrat, and of course me. So, and Bhavya, yeah. Are you able to join Bhavya? No? Okay, we'll figure it out after that. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, let me share the screen again. Okay, so any questions from last week or anything else? We are reading from The Science of Self-Realization by Srila Prabhupada, and it's the second chapter about the spiritual master, how to choose a spiritual master, which is very, very important for our spiritual life. So any questions, any comments, any realizations, please share. because we want to make it interactive. Otherwise, it might become little boring if we just keep on reading. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, if no questions, then I think we can move forward. I think we were on this paragraph. I think that's what my bookmark tells me. You remember? Anybody remember? Otherwise,
We need to start from gentlemen. It has been mainly.
yeah, many.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Uncle, for confirming.
Yeah.
So as usual, we will read, and in between any questions, any confusions, we can deal with that. So, gentlemen, so the background is Srila Prabhupada is glorifying his spiritual master, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, on the occasion of Vyas Puja of his Guru Maharaj. So he's glorifying his spiritual master. And he continues here, gentlemen, it has been a mania of cultured or uncultured society of the present day to accredit the personality of Godhead with merely impersonal features, and to stultify him by claiming that he has no senses, no form, no activity, no head, no legs, and no enjoyment. This has also been the pleasure of the modern scholars due to their sheer lack of proper guidance and true introspection in the spiritual realm. All these empiricists think alike. All the enjoyable things should be monopolized by the human society or by a particular class only. And the impersonal God should be a mere order supplier for their whimsical feats. We are happy that we have been relieved of this horrible type of melody by the mercy of His Divine Grace, Paramhans Parivrajacharya, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. He is our eye-opener, our eternal Father, our eternal preceptor, and our eternal guide. Let us therefore bow down at his lotus feet on this auspicious day. Okay, the auspicious day Srila Prabhupada is referring to is the Vyas Puja of his Guru Maharaj. So in short, he is just talking about how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has rejected the idea of formless feature of God on the basis of scriptures. That's what he's talking about. That a lot of Mayavadis or scholars, they were promoting that God is formless, he has no personal feature, he should not be worshipped in the Vigraha form and all that nonsense. So he's nullifying that. We can continue. Anyone can volunteer quickly and we can continue.
Gentlemen, although we are like ignorant children of the knowledge of the transcendence, still His Divine Grace, my Gurudev, has kindled a small fire within us to dissipate the invisible darkness of the empirical knowledge. We are now so much on the safe side that no amount of physiological argument by the empiric schools of thought can be deviate us an inch from the position of our eternal dependence on the lotus feet of His Divine Grace. Furthermore, we are prepared to challenge the most erudite scholars of the Mayadeva school and prove that the personality of Godhead and His transcendental sports in Goloka alone constitute the sublime information of the Vedas. There are explicit indications of this in the Chandogya Upanishad 8.13.1.
Shyamaj Shavalam Prapade, Shavalj Chavaya Prapade. Shavalaj Chayam Prapade. Chamam Prapade.
For receiving the mercy of Krishna, I surrender unto his energy, Radha, and for receiving the mercy of his energy, I surrender unto Krishna, also in Rigved 122:20.
Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suryaha Diviva Chakshur Atatam Vishnuriyat Paramam Padam.
The lotus feet of Lord Vishnu are the supreme objective of all the demigods. These lotus feet are as enlightening as the sun in the sky. The plain truth, so vividly explained in the Gita, which is the central lesson of the Vedas, is not understood or even suspected by the most powerful scholars of the empiric schools. Herein lies the secret of Sri Vyasa Puja. When we meditate on the transcendental pastimes of the Absolute Godhead, we are proud to feel that we are his eternal servitors, and we become jubilant and dance with joy. All glory to my divine master, for it is he who has out of his
Unceasing flow.
unseasonally flow of mercy stirred up within us, such as movement of eternal existence. Let us bow down at his lotus feet.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Okay. Any reflections? If not, we can move forward. But if anyone has any reflections or anything not clear, we can discuss.
Gentlemen, had he not appeared before us to deliver us from the thraldom of this gross worldly delusion, surely we should have remained for lives and ages in the darkness of helpless captivity. Had he not appeared before us, we would not have been able to understand the eternal truth of the sublime teaching of Lord Chaitanya. Had he not appeared before us, we could not have been able to know the significance of the first shloka of the Brahma Samhita.
Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidanand Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam.
Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an internal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. Personally, I have no hope for any direct service or for the coming crores of births of this journey of my life, but I am confident that someday or other I shall be delivered from his mire of delusion in which I am at present so deeply sunk. Therefore, let me with all my earnestness pray at the lotus feet of my divine master to allow me to suffer the lot for which I am destined due to my past misdoings, but to let me have the power of recollection that I am nothing but a tiny servant of Almighty Absolute Godhead, realized through his unflinching mercy of my divine master. Let me therefore bow down at his lotus feet with all the humanity at my command. Haribo.
Haribo chapter. So we completed the second chapter. Beautiful prayers and glorification by Srila Prabhupada for his spiritual master. And I highly recommend and encourage everyone to, when go back and read this chapter again. And I'm sure it will give you a lot of more reflections. But any questions on this chapter? Anything anyone would like to know more about the spiritual master? What is his role in our spiritual life? What is Guru Tattva? Anything, any questions we can discuss if anyone has. As we discussed in the past, there are 4 tattva which are very complex to understand. One is the Radha Tattva, Guru Tattva, Shiva Tattva, very complex to understand, and Dham Tattva, very difficult to understand the importance and glorification of Dham. So we should make sure that we ask questions and get clarifications on these subjects. Okay, if no questions, I think I'm having some trouble with my Zoom session. I'll have to reconnect, I think. Give me a second. Just bear with me. I will connect in a few seconds. No. Everybody is still connected, right?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so if no questions, we will move forward. 3rd chapter. Bottom of the page. Chapter 3, looking at the cultural background. India's greatest impersonalist meditated on Lord Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita.
Srila
Anyone would like to read?
Prabhupada reprimands impersonalist yogis and swamis, the nominal followers of the 19th century teacher Sarkana. In this commentary of the latter Bhagavad Gita, fools rush in where angels fear to tread, whereas Shankras, the greatest of the impersonalists, offer his due respects to Krishna and his book Bhagavad Gita. The foolish say that we need not surrender to the personal Krishna. O Bhagavad Gita, through thy 13 chapters, those showered upon man. Can you scroll down a little bit? Can you scroll down, please? Thank you. The immortal nectar of the wisdom of the Absolute, O blessed Gita, by thee Lord Krishna himself enlightened Arjuna. Afterwards, the ancient sage Vyasa included thee in the Mahabharata. O loving mother, destroyer of man's rebirth, into the darkness of this mortal world, upon thee I meditate. Solutions to thee, O Vyasa, thou art of mighty intellect, and thine eyes are large as the petals of the full-blown lotus. It was thou who brightened this lamp of wisdom, filling it with the oil of the Mahabharata. Purport. Sripad Sankaraya was an impersonalist
Shankaracharya.
from the materialistic point of view, but he never denied the spiritual form known as Saksid Anavigra, or the
Satchid Anand Vigraha.
Sachit Anand Vigra, or the eternal, all blissful form of knowledge that existed before the material creation. When he spoke of the Supreme Brahma as impersonal, he meant the Lord's Sachit Anand form was not to be confused with the material concept of personality. In the very beginning of his commentary on the Gita, he maintains that Narayana, the Supreme Lord, is transcendental to the material creation. The Lord existed before the creation as the transcendentalist personality, and he has nothing to do with the material personality. Lord Krishna is the supreme personality. and he has no connection with the material body. He descends in his spiritual eternal form, but foolish people mistake his body to be like ours. Sankirtana, preaching of impersonalists, is especially meant for teaching foolish persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary man composed of matter.
Okay, next.
No one would care to read the Gita if it had been spoken by a material man, and certainly Vasudeva would not have bothered to incorporate it into the history of Mahabharata. According to the above verses, the Mahabharata is the history of the ancient world, and Vasudeva is a writer of this great epic. The Bhagavad Gita is identical with Krishna, and because Krishna is the absolute supreme personality of Godhead, there is no difference between Krishna and his words. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita is as worshipable as Lord Krishna himself. Both being absolute, one who hears the Bhagavad Gita as is actually hears words directly from the lotus lips of the Lord. But unfortunate persons say that the Gita is too equated for the modern man who wants to find out God by speculation or meditation.
So just for a second, just we should make a point here that there is no difference between Krishna and his words, right? So Krishna, his forms, his names, his words, his pastimes, they are all the same. So just as a reminder, when we are chanting, when we are chanting the names of Krishna, we are directly associating with him. We should have that consciousness. It has been described and proved in all the Shastras that Krishna and his names are identical. So whether we are in front of Krishna himself or his Vigraha, or if we are chanting his names, absolutely same thing. We should have that consciousness, and then we can enjoy our chanting. Sometimes a lot of devotees have questioned, right, that we are not getting the taste because we have not developed the faith yet that his name is same as himself. And in Chaitanya, in Siksha Ashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Namna Makari Bahuda, Nich Sarv Shaktish Tatrarpita Niyamataha Smarane Na Kalaha. Namna Makari Bahuda, that names of Krishna has all the potencies that Krishna himself possesses because they are not different, they're identical. So before we start chanting, whatever time we chant in the day, just we should take few seconds and always remember two things, that we are going to directly associate with Krishna when we are chanting, and Krishna is going to come on our tongue when we are chanting his name, and he will dance. That will enhance the taste by multifold times. So initially it might not be possible or easy to keep that consciousness for a long time, but whatever round, we should come back. We should beat our mind to force our mind to think like that, and slowly we will get that taste. Just wanted to make sure, because that is the basis of all our devotional practices, right? Chanting. So we should do whatever we can to enhance the taste. Okay, next.
I salute thee, O Krishna, O thou who art the refuge of ocean-born Lakshmi, and all who take refuge at thy lotus feet. Thou art indeed the wish-fulfilling tree for thy devotee. Thy one hand holds a staff for driving cows, and thy other hand is raised for thumb touching the tip, or of thy forefinger, indicating divine knowledge. Salutations to thee, O Supreme Lord, for thou art the milker of the ambrosia of the Gita. Purport. Sripad Sankaracharya explicitly says, you fools, this worship Govinda and that Bhagavad Gita spoken by Narayan himself. Yet, Foolish people still conduct their research work to find out Narayan. Consequently, they are wretched, and they waste their time for nothing. Narayan is never wretched nor daridra. Rather, he is worshipped by the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, as well as by all living entities. Shankara declared himself to be Brahman, but he admits Narayan or Krishna to be the Supreme Personality who is beyond the material creation. He offers his respects to Krishna as the Supreme Brahman, O Parabrahman, because he, Krishna, is worshipable by everyone. Only the fools and enemies of Krishna who cannot understand what the Bhagavad Gita is, though they make commentaries on it, say, it is not the personal Krishna to whom we have to surrender ourselves utterly, but the unborn, beginningless, eternal, who speaks through Krishna. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread, whereas Shankara, the greatest of the impersonalists, offers his due respects to Krishna in his book, the Bhagavad Gita. The foolish say that we need not surrender to the personal Krishna. Such unenlightened people do not know that Krishna is absolute and that there is no difference between his inside and outside. The difference of inside and outside is experienced in that dual material world. In the absolute world, there is no such difference, because in the absolute everything is spiritual. Sachidanand and Narayan, or Krishna, belong to the absolute world. In the absolute world, there is only the factual personality, and there is no distinction between body and soul.
Just a quick check here. So you're talking about, or you're studying about Srila Shankaracharya, right? So there is a lot of misconception and misunderstanding that Shankaracharya, Sripad Shankaracharya, was impersonalist. So what happened was that Lord Shiva, Lord Shankar himself came as Sripad Shankaracharya, and he was given the responsibility or this task to promote impersonalism intentionally, because at that time, on the name of the Vedas and the scriptures, lot of mis happenings were, like sacrificing the animals, eating meat. That was very prevalent at that time, on the wrong understanding of Vedas. So Krishna gave that task to to establish the true meanings of Vedas. So let me take a step back. What happened was, when Vedas were misunderstood and a lot of sacrifices of animals and meat eating was happening, actually Lord Buddha came. Krishna came as Lord Buddha to establish that there are no Vedas, Vedas are all fake, that kind of scenario. And then once that was established, Buddhism was popular all over the world. Then Shankaracharya was sent. Lord Shankar himself came as Shankaracharya to establish the Vedas again, the teachings of Vedas. And that was the next step. And then after the Bhakti Yug came, like when all the devotees, all the acharyas, all the Vaishnavacharyas, they came after Lord Shankara to establish the real Bhakti Yog. So here, a lot of people misunderstand the teachings of Shankaracharya, but Shankaracharya himself said that Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Mood Mate. In his last moments, he told his disciples that don't become foolish by considering God as impersonal. So please worship Krishna in his personal form. So that was his last teaching. You can continue.
The Upanishada are as a herd of cows. Lord Krishna, son of the cow herd, is their milker. Arjuna is the cow. The supreme nectar of the Gita is the milk, as the wise man are purified intellect is the drinker. Purport. Unless one understands spiritual very greatness, the concept, understand the transcendental pastime of the Lord. In the Brahma Samhita it is said that Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastime, entourage, and the paraphernalia are all Ananda's Chinmaya Rasa. The short everything of his transcendental association is of the same composition of the spiritual bliss, knowledge, and eternity. There is no end to his name, form, etc. Unlike in the material world, where all things have their end. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, only fools deride him, whereas it is Shankara's the greatest personalist who worship him, his cows and his pastime as the son of the Vasudevas and pleasure of Devaki.
Yeah. So again, in the Brahma Samhita, it is said Krishna's name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage. Entourage meaning all the associates of Krishna. Whenever he comes with his associates. Whether he comes as Lord Krishna or Lord Ram or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes with his associates, his Nitya Mukta, Nitya Siddha Parshad, who are liberated souls, and they're always with him in the Golok or spiritual world. And paraphernalia means, this is important to understand paraphernalia, because whatever items we use to worship Krishna at home or a temple, they are also form of Krishna. They are actually all Balram, like Mridangam, Kartal, whatever items are being used in the worship of Lord Krishna, it is the expansion of Lord Balram, and Lord Balram is nothing but expansion of Lord Krishna. So we should always respect all the items, just like we will respect Krishna. We should never keep Mridangam or Kartals on the floor. This is all for our youth, like who plays kirtan and play all the mridangams and kartals. Never put them on the bare floor. Just respect it properly. Very, very important. And then they are all Ananda Chinmay Ras. They are all spiritual. All these items are spiritual. Okay. Next, there is one more poem. Anyone would like to read?
Thou, son of Vasudeva, destroyer of the demons Kamsa and Chanur, thou, supreme bliss of Mother Devaki, O thou, Guru of the universe, teacher of the worlds, thee of Krishna I salute. Purport. Shankara describes him as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Does he mean thereby that he is worshipping an ordinary material man? He worships Krishna because he knows that Krishna's birth and activities are all supernatural. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Krishna's birth and activities are mysterious and transcendental, and therefore only the devotees of Krishna can know them perfectly. Shankara was not such a fool that he would accept Krishna as an ordinary man, and at the same time offer him all devotional obeisances, knowing him as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. According to the Bhagavad Gita, only by knowing the transcendental birth and activities of Krishna can one attain liberation by acquiring a spiritual form like Krishna's. There are 5 different kinds of liberation. One who merges into the spiritual aura of Krishna, known as the impersonal Brahman effulgence, does not fully develop his spiritual body, but one who fully develops his spiritual existence, become an associate of Narayan or Krishna, in different spiritual abodes. One who enters into the abode of Narayan develops a spiritual form exactly like Narayan's four-handed, and one who enters into the highest spiritual abode of Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan, develops a spiritual form of two hands like Krishna's. Shankara, as an incarnation of Lord Shiva, knows all these spiritual existences, but he did not disclose them to his then Buddhist followers because it was impossible for them to know about the spiritual world. Lord Buddha preached that void is the ultimate goal. So how could his followers understand spiritual variegatedness? Therefore, Shankara said, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, or material variegatedness is false, but spiritual variegatedness is fact. In the Padma Puran, Lord Shiva has admitted that he had to preach the philosophy of Maya or illusion in the Kali Yuga as another addition of the void philosophy of Buddha. He had to do this by the order of the Lord for specific reasons. He disclosed his real mind, however, by recommending that people worship Krishna, for no one can be saved simply by mental speculations composed of word jugglery and grammatical maneuvers. Shankara further instructs, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate, Samprate Sanhite Kale, Nahi Rakshati Dukran Karane. You intellectual fools, just worship Govinda, just worship Govinda, just worship Govinda. Your grammatical knowledge and word jugglery will not save you at the time of death.
So here is Lord Sripad Shankaracharya is establishing the supremacy of Bhakti Yoga, right? Bhakti over anything else, Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. That Bhakti of Lord Govinda is supreme. Okay, next.
Of that terrifying river, of that battlefield of Kurukshetra, over which the Pandavas victoriously crossed. Bhishma and Drona were as the high banks, Jayadratha as the river's water, the king of Gandhar, the blue water lily, Satya the shark, Kripa the current, Karna the mighty waves, Ashwathama and Vikarna the dread alligators, and Duryodhana the very whirlpool. But thou, O Krishna, wast the ferryman. May the spotless lotus of Mahabharata, which grows on the waters of the words of Vyasa and of which the Bhagavad Gita is the irresistibly sweet fragrance, and its tales of heroes, the full-blown perils, fully opened by the talk of Lord Hari, who destroys the sins of Kali Yuga, and on which daily light the nectar-seeking souls, as so many bees swarming joyously. May the lotus of Mahabharata bestows on us the highest good. Salutation to Lord Krishna, the embodiment of supreme bliss, by whose grace and compassion the dumb become eloquent and the lame scale mountains. Him I salute. Should I read the purport too? Foolish followers of foolish speculators cannot understand the meaning of offering salutation to Lord Krishna, the embodiment of bliss. Shankara himself offered his salutation to Lord Krishna so that some of his intelligent followers might understand the real fact by the example set by their great master. Shankara, the incarnation of Lord Shiva, but there are many obstinate followers of Shankara who refuse to offer the salutation to Lord Krishna and instead mislead innocent person by injecting materialism into the Bhagavad Gita and confusing innocent readers by their commentaries, and consequently the readers never have the opportunity to become blessed by offering salutation to Lord Krishna. the cause of all causes. The greatest disservice to humanity is to keep mankind in darkness about the science of Krishna or Krishna consciousness by distorting the sense of Gita.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else would like to read the next one?
I can read.
Sure.
Salutations to the Supreme Shining One, whom the Creator Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Marut, and all divine beings praise with hymns, whose glories are sung by the verses of the Vedas, of whom the singers of Sama sing, and whose glories the Upanishads proclaim in full choir, whom the yogis see with their minds absorbed in perfect meditation, and of whom all the hosts of gods and demons know not the limitations. To him, the Supreme God Krishna, be all salutations. Him we salute, him we salute, him we salute. Purport. By recitation of the ninth verse of his meditation, quoted from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shankara has indicated that Lord Krishna is worshipable by one and all, including himself. He gives hints to materialists, impersonalists, mental speculators, speculators, void philosophers, and all other candidates subjected to the punishment of material miseries. Just offer salutations to Lord Krishna, who is worshipped by Brahma, Shiva, Varuna, Indra, and all other demigods. He has not mentioned, however, the name of Vishnu, because Vishnu is identical with Krishna. The Vedas and the Upanishads are meant for understanding the process by which one can surrender unto Krishna. The yogis try to see him within themselves by meditation. In other words, it is for all the demigods and demons who do not know where the ultimate end is that Shankara teaches, and he especially instructs the demons and the fools to offer salutations to Krishna and his words, the Bhagavad Gita, by following in his footsteps. Only by such acts will the demons be benefited, not by misleading their innocent followers by so-called mental speculations or show bottle meditations. Shankara directly offers salutations to Krishna as if to show the fools who are searching after light that here is light like the sun, but the fallen demons are like owls that will not open their eyes on account of their fear of the sunlight itself. These owls will never open their eyes to see the sublime light of Krishna and his words, the Bhagavad Gita. They will, however, comment on the Gita with their closed owl eyes to mislead their unfortunate readers and followers. Shankara, however, discloses the light to his less intelligent followers and shows that the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna are the only source of light. This is all to teach the sincere seekers of truth to offer salutation to Lord Krishna and thus surrender unto him without misgivings. That is the highest perfection of life, and that is the highest teaching of Shankara, the great learned scholar whose teachings drove the widest philosophy of Buddha out of India, the land of knowledge. Om Tat Sat.
Hari Bol. So very nice. Very clear, I think. This purport is very clear. Only the key point, I think, which I could note down here is we should be very careful when we read the scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, that we verify the source, because there are so many versions available with different meanings that may misguide the larger public. So that's why the version that Srila Prabhupada gave, Bhagavad Gita as it is very, very important. Which is that question was asked when Srila Prabhupada printed Bhagavad Gita as it is. So some devotees, some people in America, they asked like, well, what is the need for one more version of Gita? So Prabhupada explained that because all the versions, most of the versions which were available that time were from very scholarly people, but they had no devotion. The essence of devotion was totally missing. The actual meaning, the actual essence what Krishna wanted to give, that was totally missing. They had, they have, the writers have promoted their own philosophies based on their own understanding. So sometimes we hear like that actually there was no Mahabharata. It is just a representation of our five indriya, like five senses and all that. That so that a lot of people promote that kind of teachings. But then that's why Srila Prabhupada said that I had to come up with the real revision or version of Bhagavad Gita, which is Bhagavad Gita as it is. So we are very fortunate to, to have gotten this genuine version of Bhagavad Gita and we are able to read it. Any other reflections anybody want to bring up or any questions or until now?
Krishna, I like the point where they, like, I think that point was important where they explained how there's no need to worship the demigods because that Krishna is the source of everything, and if we only need to serve him because all the demigods are under control of Krishna.
Yeah, very good point. So we should we discussed that I think a week back also that we should understand this structure in the form of tree, right? When we water, Krishna is the root of the tree, and all the branches and all the all the leaves, they are different demigods for different highly elevated or highly empowered jivas which have been given certain tasks. So but we don't need to worship anybody else. If we are worshipping Krishna, when we water the root of the tree, the whole tree, everything, all the branches, all the leaves, they also get nourished. So that's how we look at it. So that is called as Ananya Bhakti, right? That we just worship the Supreme God. Yeah, and then when we water the root, then everybody will be satisfied. So when we worship Krishna, automatically all the demigods, everybody will be satisfied automatically by our offerings. Okay, next. Anyone would like to continue? Krishna consciousness movement, the genuine Vedic way. After reading an article on the Krishna consciousness movement in the Los Angeles Times, January 11, 1970, Srila Prabhupada began an unusual correspondence with Dr. J.F. Stahl, professor of philosophy and of South Asian languages at the University of California, Berkeley. Expert from the Los Angeles Times article. Dr. J.F. Stahl, professor of philosophy and Near Eastern languages at UC Berkeley and an instructor in Indian philosophy, believes that the Krishna sect is an authentic Indian religion and that its adherents are sincere. He attributes the society's rapid increase in members to the tendency of today's younger generation to reject organized church going, while at the same time searching for fulfillment of a belief in mysticism. He points out, however, that persons who turn away from Christianity, Mohammedanism, and Judaism have usually lost faith with the personal God of those religions and are looking for a mystical religion without absolutes. These people in the Krishna movement have turned to Hinduism, but curiously, it is a cult that is highly personalistic. Stahl said, they accept a personal God, Krishna, and Christianity has that. I feel that they have transferred some of their Christian background to a Hindu sect. He also feels that they spend too much time chanting to develop a philosophy. On these grounds, he and others on the faculty turned down the request to grant credit for an experimental course in Krishna consciousness that will be taught during the winter quarter by Hans Carey, president of the Secretary's Berkeley Temple. President of the sect's Berkeley Temple. So these are just very, very authentic facts, right? What was happening at that time when this movement was being established. So a lot of credits were given to the Hare Krishna movement, and people were very curious to know why so many people are accepting the movement and embracing it. And because the results were very, very visible that time. Anyone would like to go ahead and read the next letter?
Yes, sir. Is dear sir, with reference to your article in the Los Angeles Times dated Sunday, January 11th, 1970, under the heading Krishna Chant, I beg to point out that the Hindu religion is perfectly based on the personal concept of God or Vishnu. The impersonal concept of God is a side issue or one of three features of God. The absolutely truth is ultimately the supreme personality of Godhead. The Paramatma concept is the logical right aspect of his omnipresence, and the impersonal concept is the aspect of his greatness and eternity. But all these combined together make the complete whole. Dr. J.F. Sattel's statement that the Krishna cult is the combination of Christian and Hindu religion, as if something manufactured by concoction is not correct. If the Christian, Muhammadan, or Buddhist religion are personal, there is quite welcome. But the Krishna religion has been personal from a time long, long ago when Christian, Muhammadan, and Buddhist religions had not yet come into existence. According to the Vedic conception, religion is basically made by the personal God as his laws. Religion cannot be manufactured by man or anyone except God. Superior to man, religion is the law of God only. Unfortunately, all the Swamis who came before me in this country stressed the impersonal aspect of God without sufficient knowledge of God's personal aspect in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, it is said that only less intelligent persons consider that God is originally impersonal but assumes a form when he is incarnation. The Krishna philosophy, however, based on the authority of the Veds, is that originally the absolutely truth is the supreme personality of Godhead. His plenary expansion is present in everyone's heart in his logical aspect, and the impersonal Brahman effluence is the transcendental light and heat distributed everywhere. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that the aim of Vedic way of searching out of absolutely truth is to find the personal God, one who is satisfied only with the other aspect of the absolute truth, namely the Paramatma feature or Brahman feature, is to be considered possessed of a poor fund of knowledge. Recently, we have published our Shri Spanish Vedic literature, and in this small booklet, we have thoroughly discussed this point. As far as the Hindu religion is concerned, there are millions of Krishna temples in India, and there is not a single Hindu who does not worship Krishna. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is not a concocted idea. We invite all scholars, philosophers, religionists, and the member of the general public to understand this movement by critically study. And if one does so seriously, one will understand the sublime position of great movement. The chanting process is also authorized. Professor Satal's feeling of disgust is the matter of constant chanting of the holy name of Krishna is a defined proof of his lack of knowledge. In this authorized movement of Krishna consciousness, instead of turning down the request to give Carey's course credit, and he and all learned professors of the University of California at Berkeley should patiently hear about the truth of this authorized movement so much needed at the present in the godless society. Credit for the course was later established. This is the only movement that can save the confused younger generation. I shall invite all responsible guardians of this country to understand this transcendental movement and then give us all honest facilities to spread it for everyone's benefit. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, spiritual master of the Hare Krishna movement.
Hari Bol, Hila Prabhupada ki jai. So if we really read this letter, the response, because the professor, he was raising some concerns, right? As I said, like there was a lot of curiosity among the scholars at that time and all the intellectuals. How come this Hare Krishna movement is attracting so many people in their country? So there were concerns, and there was a lot of curiosity. So a lot of people were analyzing the situation. So they were just trying to understand it from whatever intellectual they had. But Srila Prabhupada, he was very bold, and he was very with full conviction. He was used to respond to make sure there is no misconception about this Hare Krishna movement. And he's trying to, if we understand this letter, he's trying to establish the authenticity of this Hare Krishna movement, that this is just not a mental concoction of anybody's mind. It is not a mental concoction. It is the bona fide movement, which as per the scriptures, right? That's all is going on in this letter, in short. And Hare Krishna chanting, the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this is all bona fide. So he's that is also the biggest contribution of Srila Prabhupada, that he came with all the logic, all the knowledge, all the proofs, all the scriptural backgrounds when he established this movement. It was just not the sentiment. He came, he established this movement as a scientific movement, and that's what did the trick. Because we know Westerners, right? They will just not accept things like that. They will ask questions, a lot of questions. If we hear Srila Prabhupada's morning conversations, every morning, so many disciples, they were just right and left, they were questioning him for each and everything. Also challenging a lot of time. I mean, of course, challenging very submissively with respect. But and Prabhupada used to give the answers from philosophical point of view, from scientific point of view, whether it is physics, chemistry, biology. He knew everything. And that's why we know this Hare Krishna movement as it is now so much popular and so much attractive to everybody who is interested in learning the science of Krishna consciousness. Absolutely, there is no other movement or no other organization which is giving this kind of knowledge to anybody. Of course, there are a lot of devotional and spiritual organizations, but if we really look around, no other organization or no other parampara is giving so much knowledge with logic and as a scientific basis, with so many books, so many processes, so many literature. Absolutely, there is no match to what ISKCON is doing. So that is the biggest contribution of Srila Prabhupada for us. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
So it's 9:18. So I think we can stop here and we will continue next week with the next section. And I will try to bookmark it at some point. So we should move to the Narasimha prayer. So what I was thinking, if everybody has about 7-8 minutes, because we read the glories of spiritual master and we also read the chapter 2 before the Narasimha prayer. If everybody is okay, we can sing Guru Ashtak together. How about that? Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Singing the
Yes,
Guru
Prabhuji.
Ashtakam? It is a very sweet prayer, so we all can. So let me see. I don't know if everybody can see my screen yet. Let me. Is it visible to everybody? Shri Shri Guru Ashtakam.
Yes.
So Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, very, very prominent, eminent Acharya in Gaudiya Vaishnava. And he appeared in the middle of the 17th century. And he was a great spiritual master in the disciplic succession. And he wrote this wonderful prayer. So we'll start. So we all know the tune. I will just try to recite once and then we all can start together. Sansara dava nalidaloka tranaya karunya ganaganatvam. So this is the tune and then we all can sing together. Ready? Okay.
Yes.
Sansara dava nalidaloka tranaya karunya ganaganatvam. Prapasya kalyanadurvasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nritya Gita Vaditravadyanam Surabhem Romanchitam Pashutarangajo Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Shri Vigrahanam Shri Panchani Yunjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Chaturvedha Shri Bhagavat Prasada Swadana Tirtan Hari Bhakta Sangam Ratveva Tripti Bhajata Sadeva Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Shri Radhika Madhavayurapara Madhurya Leela Gunagana Pratikshana Swadhanlopatra Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Seri Jayali Vir Yukte Rakshaniya Tatrati Daksha Atiballabhya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Sakshadhare Kvena Madhu Shastre Yuktastatha Bhavayat Eva Tadabhi Kintu Prabhorya Vyadasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Yasya Prasada
Bhagavat Prasada
Yasya prasadam
Nagatvati
Dayantasya yashaskantam
Vande
Vande
Guru
Guru
Shri
Shri
Charanarvindam.
Charanarvindam
Vande Guru
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 Shri
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 Charanarvindam.
Charanarvindam
Charanarvindam
Vande
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 Guru
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 Shri
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 Charanarvindam.
Charanarvindam
Guru Shri Charanarvindam.
Arvindam
Vande Guru
Guru
Shri
Shri
Charanarvindam.
Charanarvindam.
Very well. Very, very sweet
Oh,
prayers. I will also post the link or the prayers in the group. But it will be very nice if all of us can recite it every day in the morning, and especially in the Brahma Muhurta. It is very auspicious to recite it. So at next time we can probably read the meaning. Or when I will post the link, please go through the meaning. It's very, very sweet. And we can understand the glories of Guru Tattva, how important is Guru. Okay. Any questions on this? Yeah, so I think we are ready for Narasimha prayer. I hope Anya is ready.
Yes, Bhaiya, she is ready.
Hari Bol. We'll look for an enthusiastic prayer today.
Okay.
So let me. Okay, Anya, whenever you're ready, beta, you can start.
Okay. Anya, start. Namaste Narate Maya.
Namaste Narsimhaya
Tala Tatayene.
Hiranyakashi Purvasyaha
Chilatanka Nakaraye Itones Sema Yato Yato Yamita Tonasamo Pahe Semo Heta Hena Semo Narasimhamadam Saranam Chapate Narasimhamadam Saranam Chapate Tamakara Kamalavare Nakam Putashingam Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanupringam Kedari Chanara Adirupa Chaya Jagati Shahare Shahare
Tav kar kamal
Jai Jagadish Hare
Jagadish Hare
Jagadish Hare
Savadisha Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Narahari Rupa
Jai Jagadish
Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare
Jaya Narsim Hare Jaya Narsim Hare Narsim Hare Jaya Narsim Hare
Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya
Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev.
Jaya Pralam Marat, Jaya Pralam Marat, Pralam Marat, Jaya Pralam Marat.
Jaya Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj,
Maharaj,
Jaya Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj, Jaya
Maharaj,
Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj,
Maharaj,
Jaya
Jaya
Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
Jai Ho Prabhu.
Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya
Jaya
Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jai Gurudev, Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hari Bol, very
Hari
nice.
Bol.
Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhagwan ki
की
jai,
जय
Prahlad Maharaj ki
जय
Anya ki jai, very sweet.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Hari Hari Bol.
हरि बोल.
So thank you, Anya, and so quickly, very couple of announcements. As we announced yesterday also. Give me a second. Sure. So tomorrow we have wonderful opportunity to hear from His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And the topic is also very special, lessons from Queen Kunti. Very, very special prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are very famous prayers and wonderful topics. So please connect at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And I will share the link as always. And then next Friday, we will have His Grace Antama Das Prabhu on Friday at 7:45 p.m. in our program. And he will be interacting with us. He will be giving us Krishna consciousness, talking about. So I will highly suggest we are going to have a lot of opportunity to hear from direct disciples of Srila Prabhupada in the next coming few weeks. So it will be very nice if we can really ask questions. See, if asking questions is the way to grow in Krishna consciousness. If we see all the scriptures, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, whatever, they are all based on question answers. Devotees are asking questions, and Krishna or his representatives are giving the answer. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam is full of question answers. So without question and answers, it is very difficult to clear the doubts. So if we are really very sincere in our path, then we should ask questions or clarify anything. And we might know the answer, and we just want to clarify a few things. So it's also okay. And no question is a stupid question. Please feel free to interact. This is a great opportunity to interact directly, at least on the Zoom session. And they are taking out time for us. We are so small, right? For such a small congregation, but they have agreed upon, so they are so much busy. Of course, they are not able to travel right now, but still they are busy with so many calls otherwise. And then we will also have opportunity on 22nd May, that is the second Friday from now, to have His Holiness Giriraj Swami, very, very very, very exalted devotee and very, very great soldier of Srila Prabhupada, who had lot of association of Srila Prabhupada himself. And when we hear from these devotees, it is just like interacting or hearing directly from Srila Prabhupada. They are very powerful. They are very powerful spiritual soldiers. So, and we will have more exalted devotees coming up in the next few weeks. We'll share more information. So please be enthusiastic in the devotion life and stay safe, take care, and anything we can do remotely or whatever way, please let us know to serve anybody. Please interact, be in communication, and I would say take care. Hari Bol.
Haribo.
Thank you so much again for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock on the Zoom. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna।
जाना कुछ बस हो गया।